if I wanted to save my file manually, I guess you could say, very simple, just like every other program, we'd choose File and then down to Save. Mine's grayed out because I haven't made any changes to my file. That's all fine and well. Or, of course, you can use your keyboard shortcut, Controller Command S, and that's usually what I'm doing on my keyboard. But what if I wanted to change the actual file format? Let me just get out of the File menu here for a second. I'm still inside Barn 2, right? And this guy's a JPEG, barn2.jpg. Okay, so that's the file format that he's saved into. Well, what if I wanted to change the file format? Maybe I want this guy to be a GIF, or maybe I want him to be a TIFF. And furthermore, why would I want this guy to be a TIFF? Well, this is exactly what I want to talk about here. So give me a second. I'm going to head back to the File menu for a moment, and this time down to Save As. Now, I'm going to use the Save As command if I want to change the name of the file, in other words, saving out a copy of the file, a duplicate of the file, or if I want to go and change the format of the file. So here we have this Format drop-down menu, and of course, this guy right now is a JPEG, as we already discovered. Now, typically what you'd want to do, though, is you'd want to save your file as a Photoshop file, as a native .psd file. And typically how this works is our editable file, the file that you and I are going to be working on, is going to be a .psd until we need to get this file into a different file format for some other purpose. And our intention is to eventually use this guy on the web. So we're going to save this guy as a .psd as we're building him, as we're editing him, and as we're working on him. And then once he's finished, we're going to keep that original editable file, and then we're going to save a copy out as a JPEG, for instance, because a JPEG is a web-friendly file format, right? So let me talk about .psd, or the Photoshop native format, for just a second. Notice, by the way, that barn2.jpg is now barn2.psd, Photoshop document. The .psd file format supports all of the different things that you and I can do inside Photoshop, including things like layers, layer effects, adjustment layers, masking, alpha channels, all this great stuff. It's fully editable. This is why we want to keep our original file as a .psd, okay? And then, of course, save out copies for various uses. Let's talk about our web file formats next. So we already know that JPEG is a web-friendly file format, very common file format online. But as a matter of fact, JPEG and CompuServe GIF and PNG or PNG are all siblings. These three file formats are all used in web design for various intents. So very quickly here, JPEG is great for standard photographs. CompuServe GIF files are great for images that originate as a vector graphic, for example, a menu button or an icon or something like this, or as a graphic that I want to reside on a transparent background, or a graphic that contains very basic animation. PNG combines the best of JPEG and the best of GIF, so he can support photographs, raster images, and vector graphics like icons or cartoons or logos, and he also supports transparency as well, but he doesn't support animation. Okay, so if you want to start getting into web design, or maybe you already are involved in web design, that's kind of the basics anyway, the difference between these file formats. And as far as all the other file formats that we can save out as, I certainly don't want to go through every single one of them. There's tons of them here. I will mention TIFF, though, because he's another pretty common file format. He's used a lot in the world of print, and I kind of think of the TIFF file format as like a Jeep. He's rugged, he's durable, you can email him around and people are going to be able to open him up. You can drop him into an InDesign layout, you can use him in Illustrator. He's robust, he gets the job done. So anyway, there you go. That's kind of a quick rundown of your different file formats. And again, I have to strongly recommend that as you're working along, that you save your work as a .psd until you're ready to, I guess you could say, deploy your graphic to the web or to the world of print or what have you.